Hi everybody, welcome to this suggested solution to COVID-19 temperatures, task 3. Now this is an exam level question. I know it doesn't look like an exam level question, but it is. And the topic is object-oriented programming. Task 3 brought back an AS level topic, which was file handling with text files. And you really need to make sure that you stay familiar with this topic because it's also part of the full A-level syllabus. So let's have a look at task 3. We're going to design a doctor class method called viewLog, and this method basically displays 5 lines of the log, and then it will ask the user, do you want to see the next 5 lines? And if the answer is no, everything stops, and if the answer is yes, we display the next 5 lines, and that just keeps going until the user enters no or the end of the file is reached. Okay, so quite tricky, but let's have a look at it and see if we can break down the logic of this problem. So this is a doctor class method. Make sure you line it up with all your other doctor class methods. I don't think there are any parameters. What we're going to do is determine the file name of the file that we want to open. So it's going to be self.__wardnum. We've got this is the ID of the doctor, concatenated with .txt. Now these are both strings. This is a string and this is a string, so we can concatenate them, no problem. We're then going to open that, so let's create a variable to allow us to communicate with the open file, and we're going to open it for read. I'm now going to pull all of the data from that file into my computer program, and this is my strategy for doing that. So let's use our file pointer, which is communicating with the open file. This is what we need to communicate with it, and we're simply going to call the readLines method. Okay, that pulls all of the data into my computer program into an array. So let's just see if that worked. In my project folder, I've already set up the file to have lots of lines. It's all garbage, but lots of lines, because we need that to test this solution. Let's run that and see if, we can't run it yet because I haven't created a doctor, so I can't call the viewLog method. D equals doctor. Dr. James. Let's do it with a K this time, Kardashian. And of course, we're going to use the same, I think that's right, was it W2? What did I call that file? WD002. Okay. And now we can call the viewLog method by using the variable D, which references a doctor object. So this variable can communicate with all of these doctor class methods. So we'll call the viewLog method and let's see if that works. File pointer is not defined. There we go. So we've managed to grab all of the lines from the file, and using readLines, we've pushed it into an array with lots of elements. Okay, so depending on the file, we don't know how many elements there will be, but hopefully they're all there. Now we need to display all of the data in this array 5 lines at a time. Okay, so I'm going to try and explain with a graphic my approach to this problem. Let's imagine that this is the array, and we need a variable to step us through every element of the array until we reach the end. We don't want to go outside the array because that will be an out of bounds exception error. So we're just going to reach the end and that will stop us. Okay? I'm also going to create a variable called count. Now the way this variable is going to work, it's going to start with a value of 0, then it's going to become 1, then it's going to become 2, then it's going to become 3, then it's going to become 4, and that's an iteration of 5 times. So then we're going to ask, do you want to continue? And if the user wants to continue, we reset count to be 0, and it continues its journey. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to continue? Yes. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay, so the count is just stepping through these 5 numbers. So let's start to code this idea. I'm not going to use a for loop because I don't know how many elements are in the array. I'm going to use a precondition loop, a while loop. So while, I need to set up these variables, don't I, first of all. So let's set up a variable called index and set it to 0. We'll set up a variable called count and set it to 0. And I'm also going to create a variable called response and set it to yes. Okay? In fact, I'm just going to make that a string. This is necessary because we're going to ask the user, do you want to continue? So we need to record the response so that we can analyze it. And to get started, we're just going to say the response is yes because we want to view some data. So while index is less than the length of this array file data. Do you remember that? We want to keep this index inside the array. We don't want an out-of-bounds exception, so that logic should keep us inside the array. And response is yes, that needs to be true. We're going to do some things. We're going to display the current file data element. We're going to update index to allow us to step through the array. Remember, index is going to start at 0 and it's just going to step through, possibly until the end of the array, depending on this logic. So let's say that we've done 5, right? Count started at 0, then it's going to go to 1, then it's going to go to 2, then it's going to go to 3, then it's going to go to 4, and that means if it goes to 5, we actually need to reset it to 0. So let's do count equals count plus 1. We've printed 1, so now we want to increment the count. If count has reached 5, then what we want to do is get a new response from the user. Do you want to continue? Y or N? Now I'm not going to put any validation code in here. Let's just trust that the user knows what they're doing. And I'm going to reset the count to be 0. Okay? So print the latest thing, increment the count to 1, print the next one. Increment the count to 2, print the next one. Increment the count to 3, print the next one. Increment the count to 4, print the next one. Increment the count, which will take it to 5, but that's where we catch it. We've reached 5, so we want to ask, do you want to continue? And reset the count back to 0. So we're at 5, the count is 0, display 5, display log data or file data index, which is 5, count becomes 1, index becomes 6, count becomes 2, index becomes 7. Okay, does that kind of logic make sense? And I think that is a solution to the viewLog method. Let's run the module and see if it works. We displayed 5. Do you want to continue? Yes. We displayed 5. Do you want to continue? Let me tell you, there are 26 lines in that file. I counted it earlier. So that's 10 of them. That's 15. That's 20. That's 25. And that's the 26th one. And the logic has stopped us. Okay, so let's run it again. Yes, no. Okay, so have a think about the solution to that problem. It's a little bit awkward, but if you can find a way to visualize your idea, take a pen and paper, and I recommend this during the exam, just try and play with an idea first before you start coding. It will help you.